Janis, it's good to talk to you. Set the scene for us. What was it like at the airport as they arrived?
Well, there were more than 300 South Koreans who were returning, 316 to be exact, including 10 women. And they came out of the baggage area in groups, escorted by police and South Korean officials. There were some onlookers in the arrivals area who started applauding for them, and they waved. We talked to one of the workers who said that it felt like he was in a movie. And I'm going to read his quote for you. He said, "It was even more intense than we imagined, with armored vehicles and guns pointed at us. There was no way we could resist, so we all just surrendered and were taken in." And then there was another worker who was describing what it was like in the detention facility. He said it was everything you would expect from a prison. It was cold, the food was terrible, and he said he feels, quote, "nothing but joy about being home."
Did you get the sense that there was a sigh of relief, or was it just tense, given that this is now kind of an international incident?
There really was a sense of relief, a sense of joy. For people here in South Korea, all they saw were the images of South Korean workers, university educated, a lot of them, there to build this factory and create American jobs. And they were being put in handcuffs and shackles and lined up like they were criminals. And there's no way to understate how that resonated here. The fact that it was happening in a country that is a close friend and longstanding ally of South Korea. So there was a lot of attention being paid to the imagery today, the sense that these workers were coming home, they were safe, and they had dignity.
There were some posters that I believe you took photos of that kind of illustrate some of that frustration.
Well, there were two protesters who were at the airport, and they did their protesting before the workers were arriving back to ensure that they didn't distract from what was the true main event. But one of the protesters had this huge banner that he got on a ladder and he unfurled the banner, and it was this likeness of President Trump wearing an ICE police uniform, carrying a gun and a bag of cash that had a South Korean flag on it. And the caption on this banner said, "We're friends, aren't we?" I talked to the protester afterwards, and he said, "Look, I'm a regular guy. I'm not a professional protester. I'm just somebody who's really troubled by what I've seen. The fact that so much South Korean money is being invested in the U.S., and the U.S. is rounding people up, making a government charter an airplane and negotiate directly with the White House in order to get these workers back."
And it seems like universally in a country like South Korea, which has gone through a lot of political turmoil lately, that on all sides of the spectrum, they seem to all be frustrated with how the United States is treating their nationals that were working to build that plant here in Georgia.
The level of foreign investment by South Korean companies in the United States is at about $500 billion. For LG and Hyundai, who are partnering on this battery facility, there's $26 billion wrapped up just in LG investment alone. The companies are now saying, because of this raid, things are going to be delayed. They're going to delay the opening of the facility by probably 2 to 3 months because the construction is being set back. There's going to be a delay in the creation of those 8,500 American jobs. The bigger issue from this, Brian, is that there are a lot of companies here with very deep pockets and very big plans for investment in the U.S. who may be hesitant. And it's South Korea's president himself who is suggesting that because, businesses like predictability. And this raid has sent a message to South Korean businesses about the risk of investing in projects in the United States. And the fact that there isn't a visa system that is consistent with the sort of work that's being expected of these South Korean companies.
These South Korean workers were in the U.S. under these short-term visa programs. Was that part of the confusion here? Were they lawfully or unlawfully in the United States working?
There's still a lot of confusion over what kind of visas they were on, what their visa statuses were. Some on B1, some on the visa waiver program. Some had the proper work documents and were still forced to leave the country.
And as we wrap up here, you've been in Korea for a few days. What is the temperature of how people on the street, perhaps, are viewing these headlines coming out of the United States?
We talked to people who would talk to us, and they were ranging in age from university students to retirees. A majority of people didn't like what they saw. Some were going so far as to say that it really raises a lot of questions about what's happening in America. They don't recognize the country. There were others who were saying they would still want to go to the U.S. to be able to pursue this sort of work. So it's not deterring them. Overall, though, the sense among people here, seeing these images play in a loop over the news channels and the newspaper headlines screaming at them, was that we deserve better than this. The U.S. is our friend, and we deserve better treatment.
NBC News foreign correspondent Janis Mackey Frayer, thanks so much.
Thank you.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.